Greetings, YouTube, and a very happy Wednesday. You see, gosh, it has been over 2 years since I have been asking Kabam when it comes to shard to unit deals to at least have the ratio be 4-to-1. What the heck do I mean by that? Well, you've got to understand that most of the time Kabam puts out these trash 5-star shard offers that literally are 1-to-1 or if you're lucky 2-to-1, meaning they say, hey, give us 1,000 of your units and we'll trade those 1,000 units for 1,000 5-star shards. Or maybe if we're feeling generous, we'll give you 2,000 5-star shards for 1,000 units, which is a terrible value, especially given how cheap those of you who have access to Cavalier Crystals now have a chance at about 11% drop rate, though my data has suggested for over a month now that the drop rate of that's about 5 to 6% versus 11%. But regardless, that still puts, if the 11% data holds up, 1 5-star for every 3,000 units if you're Cavalier. So naturally, if you have these offers, but they're way worse, you're not going to be incentivized to go for them, which means that Kabam has to do one of two things. Either they have to say, in-game players who are Cavalier are never going to buy these offers again, and we're just going to be going for people who maybe aren't even uncollected, or we're going to lower the price. Now, Kabam historically doesn't lower the price because they don't get economics and they don't understand supply versus demand. But maybe YouTube, maybe they've been watching my videos. Maybe all those hundreds of offer reviews have finally landed in the right person's inbox, because I am here to tell you, I am stunned. This is not July 4th. This is not Cyber Monday. This is April freaking 24th. And they are offering a offer that actually makes sense for the player to consider purchasing it. The first tier is not 1, not 2, not 3, not 4, but 5 times the ratio of 5-star shards to units. For 600 units, you get 3,000 5-star Hero Crystal shards. That is, by all accounts, an A deal for units. And not only that, but you also get a good chunk of gold, 100,000, and 5 Tier 1 Alphas, which Tier 1 Alphas used to be charged at least 100 units just per T1 Alpha. So this is like getting the old price, paying 100 units for 3,000 5-star Hero Crystal shards. It is an A deal, and I am shocked to see this here, but I'm so thankful that it is. Now, of course, there are multiple tiers of this offer, and this also is separated this time by Conqueror, or all summoners who have completed Act 4. And then you also have a second tier for those of you who have yet to reach the level of Conqueror. It's a 4-star one. I'm not going to really review this one because it's not as good. But at the same time, I mean, if you can get 4 stars for 1,200 units, or 300 units per, that's pretty good. That's pretty good. So I'm just saying we've seen a lot worse. But in general, for those of you who have access to the 5-star, the first tier is a solid A, 600 units. Now, second tier gets you up to 1,500 units. We're talking about $50 worth of units, and that gets you almost a fully formed 5-star crystal. 9,000 5-star crystal shards. You need just 1,000 more for that 10K basic price, and you get an additional 5 Tier 1 Alphas. I always say in these bundles, we need 5 Tier 1 Alphas to go from one rank to the next rank as a 5-star. Why do they always give us 2 Tier 1 Alphas or 3 Tier 1 Alphas? Well, they listened. It's like they listened, and they're doing 5 per level, which is awesome. And then on top of that, you also get another 100,000 gold. So this one is a bit interesting because basically they're just saying that you save about 300 units because in theory, if it was the same value, you would have 1,200 units total. So I'm kind of a fan of the first one more than the second one just because you aren't increasing the Tier 1 Alpha count at all for an additional 900 units. And really that's kind of startling. Now, like I said, you save 300 units when you bundle them together because one would assume that the second tier would be 1,200 units for double what it is, and it's only 1.5x. But at the same time, it's not game breaking. However, for the remaining, they're going to assume you buy an Odin with this, right? 3,100 units. And 3,100 units is exactly the price tag of all 3 of these tiers together. And so for an Odin, you get 19,000 5-star hero crystal shards, by far the most we have ever seen for a unit-based deal. This is a free-to-play player-friendly deal if you've been hoarding units. And then 1,000 6-star hero crystal shards, which is also a great opportunity to get yourself a 6-star Hulkbuster and a tier 2 alpha. Now, for this price tag, the tier 2 alphas would be nice if there were 2 tier 2 alphas, because we've seen one several times for the equivalent of $50. But at the same time, this is a 5-star cash deal, so I know tier 2 alphas are not really what you're going for in this. And then 100,000 gold again. 100,000 gold, pretty weak. It's very strange that they're not increasing the gold amounts per cash and they're keeping it the same. That's part of the reason why, especially if you're needing of gold, the best deal for your units is certainly the first tier. The second tier, I would say, is a B, and the third tier is probably in between a B- and a B. I do think the tier 2 alphas are overpriced. The 6-star shards are still, quite frankly, overpriced, but the 10,000 5-star hero crystal shards is pretty awesome. So overall, the first level of this is by far the best deal we have seen for units versus shard ratio. It's 5-1. And then the other two are still solid, but not as good. It would be better if they actually increased the gold over the course of the advanced and ultimate tiers and also increased either the tier 1 alphas, or it makes more sense to have that middle bundle have at least 18,000 tier 2 alpha catalyst fragments included with it, so that there's a second incentive to spend that extra 900 units. But because it remains the same incentives except for additional 5-star hero crystal shards, it's just not as good of a value as the first one. Really, if you want to open a 5-star crystal, if you're close, it's a no-brainer to get the first one. And if you need tier 1 alphas, and if you're taking 5 stars now, up a rank, it also makes just 100% sense to get that first level. It's a solid A value. It's like a 95%. It is the deal that I have been asking for years now, and that probably is going to be some form of the title of this video, because it truly is historic finally. Kabam Marketing, thank you for listening to my channel's request for years. Even if it's strictly a coincidence, I will say you matched what I've been asking for. Now you just got to up the gold to actually make sense. But you're on the right track. Certainly better than we've seen. Thanks for watching, YouTube. Good luck with the new content, and let me know what your thoughts are on the historic shard to ratio unit deal in the comments below.